Working from home in 2020 has become the new normal. For many, it was a decision that was forced upon them, with governments advising not to travel to work. Now companies start to see home working as more of a viable option. It definitely looks set to continue into the future. But did you know if you are forced to work from home, then your employer can actually pay you a small amount extra each week, tax-free, to cover any additional costs? And if they don't, then you can claim tax relief for expenses such as heat and light in your home office. Today, I'm going to show you how to get a tax refund if you've been working from home. Welcome to Trader UK, the money management channel. If you haven't already, then subscribe now for more finance related content. If you enjoyed today's video, then hit that like button. And if you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, as well as leaving a comment below. Now I'm going to show you how to get this tax refund in two parts. First of all, I'll show you how to make the calculation, and then I'll show you how to actually claim the refund. Before I do though, I need to point out, if you are just choosing to work from home because it's a little bit more convenient for you, then you cannot apply for this relief. The whole idea of a traditional workplace is that the employer rents out an office, they set you up with a workstation, they heat and light the office, and then the employer gets tax relief on all of those expenses. Under the new way of working though, it's the employees that are actually paying some of the expenses out of their salary, and their salary has already been taxed. So HMRC recognise that it's the employee who should be getting some of the tax relief now. So we're going to look at it in two parts. First of all, to make your calculation on screen, you'll see we got direct on the left hand side and then indirect on the right hand side. Direct expenses should be very easy. When your employer told you you're going to have to work from home, there would have been some expenses that you incurred that you wouldn't have incurred normally should you have been working as normal. You might have gone out and bought an office chair, you might have bought a desk, a laptop, software, whatever it is. You wouldn't have incurred it if it wasn't for this new need to work at home. And in this example, I'm using a total of £500 for that. Indirect expenses, they're expenses that you were incurring anyway, but they have increased as a result of you having to work from home. Heat and light are the best two examples. Occasionally people will try and add in rent and broadband. You would have been incurring rent and broadband most likely anyway. You can't really argue that your rent has increased as a result. So only things that have increased as a result of you working from home. And you've got two options with your indirect expenses. You can claim the flat rate, which is £6 per week. HMRC give that amount that you can claim without any receipts, any evidence, etc. Or you can do a manual calculation and you can total up your heat and light bills. Let's say this example is £50 per week. You use one room out of 3 habitable rooms in this example. So I've got a 2-bedroom apartment, I've got 2 bedrooms and a living room. You wouldn't include the kitchen and the bathroom because they're not habitable rooms. So multiply by 1/3 gives you 1666. I then make an adjustment dividing it by 2 there because I use that room for personal use as well, which gives you 833. Now there's not a huge difference between the two, and technically you could choose either route 1 or route 2. Now, me personally, I would always be choosing the £6 per week flat rate unless there was a huge difference between the two, because HMRC are not going to question their own flat rate. They may question your calculation. So if you multiply that out by the whole year, 6 by 52, it gives you £312 and leaves us with a total of £812 to claim tax relief on. You can then calculate how much tax relief you'll get with a quick sum. If you're paying basic rate tax, you'll get 162.40 back. If you're paying higher rate tax, you'll get 324.80. Or if you're paying additional rate tax, you can get up to £365.40 refunded. Now I'm going to show you how to actually take your £812 and make the claim so that HMRC will send you out a cheque for the refund. You can visit this website at the top here, or it's normally easier if you just Google HMRC work from home. It's the first page at the top and it will take you here. It will give you a little bit of information about the claiming expenses, and then they have an online check to see if you're eligible to claim.
So I'll follow this through with you and show you how it works. Claiming for yourself. Are you claiming expenses after the 5th of April 2016? If you want to go back more than 5 years, I think you can, but you have to do a manual form. Did you pay tax in each of these years? Yes. If you haven't paid any tax, and you can't get tax relief. Do you complete self-assessment returns? No. If you do complete self-assessments, then you can just add in your claim on there. Are you claiming expenses more than £2,500 or more in a single tax year? In this case, no. Again, if you are, then you have to do a manual form. Has your employer paid back all your work-related expenses? No. But this is a good point. Your employer can pay you that £6 per week tax-free, and that would be the best scenario for you because you obviously won't pay any tax on it and you'll get the full amount back. So if you can, it's worth speaking to your employer and seeing if they can reimburse you for the expenses first of all, and then if they don't agree to that, then this is the second route that you go. Select the expenses you want to claim. There's lots of employment expenses that you can claim. I'm going to link one of my other videos in a card now about how to claim other expenses, but tons of things. You can claim for washing your uniform, doing mileage, going to clients, staying overnight somewhere, subscriptions to professional bodies. In today's video, we're just looking at working from home, so we'll select that box. And then continue.
Welcome to Trader UK, the money management channel. If you haven't already, then make sure you subscribe now for more finance related content. And if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button as well. If you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, as well as leaving a comment below.
Online. So claim the expenses.
And I'm going to do this in two parts. First of all, I'm going to show you how to calculate what you're due, and then I'm going to show you how to actually make the claim. Before I do that though, I just need to point out, if you're just choosing to work from home because it's a little bit more convenient for you, you cannot apply for this relief because it's your choice. The whole idea of traditional workspace is that the employer will rent out an office, set you up with a workstation, heat and light the workstation. The employer then gets the tax relief on those expenses. It's just now that under this new way of working, the employees are paying all of these expenses out of their own pocket, and they've already paid tax on their salary. So HMRC recognise it's the employee now who should be getting the tax relief. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to calculate this. On screen, on the left-hand side, you have direct expenses. This should be very straightforward. When your employer told you need to work from home, there may have been some expenses that you would not have normally incurred that you have had to incur. So you may have had to go out and buy an office chair. You may have had to go out and buy a desk. Some people would have had to go and buy a laptop to work from home, maybe some software, Office 365. So total up those things, and in this example I'm saying it's cost £500. Then on the right hand side, your indirect expenses. These are expenses that you would have been incurring anyway, but they have increased as a result of you working from home. So heat and light are the best two examples. Sometimes you'll see people trying to put rent in here, broadband. You would have been incurring those expenses anyway, so I wouldn't add them in. You can end up getting yourself into trouble, but heat and light are good ones. You have two options for calculating your indirect expenses. The flat rate is your first option, and HMRC for this tax year give a flat rate allowance of £6 per week. Last year and previously it was £4 per week. They won't question that amount. That is the advice that they give, that you should claim £6 per week, and you don't need to keep any receipts or anything like that, or any proof of calculation. The other option, if you want to, you can do a manual calculation. So if it's costing you £50 per week, like in the example, and you live in a house or an apartment that has 3 habitable rooms. Habitable rooms don't include your bathroom and your kitchen, so maybe a 2-bedroom apartment with a living room would give you 3 habitable rooms.
You can then just enter your payment details.
So you times it by 1/3, which gives you
If you follow this through, they'll then send
you
you out a
should then
check
make
to
an
your home
adjustment
address.
because
The next
most
screen will have you
likely,
confirm
as
all
well
your
as using
personal
that room for an
details and then
office, you
submit the
also
form, which
use
I
it for
won't show
personal
you
use.
as it's got my
So you
personal
divide it by
details
2
on.
because it has 2
And that's
uses,
it.
and
Once
it
you've
gives you
submitted, they'll send you out a check,
£8.33.
normally within a
In
couple
this
of
case,
weeks,
there's not a
depending on
huge
how
difference
busy
between the two,
HMRC are.
£6, £8.33, and you
That's
can
it for
technically
today,
choose
guys.
whichever
Hopefully you
one you
found
want.
it useful. If you
Now,
have
if it were
any
me, I would
questions,
always be
remember
going with
you
the
can also find
£6
me on
per week
Facebook
because
and
HMRC are
Instagram,
very
as well as
unlikely,
leaving a
or they
comment
won't
below.
question
Hope
their
you
own
enjoyed the
guidance,
video, and I
whereas
look
they may
forward to seeing
question
you
it
next
if you
time.
calculate your own